Well, things continue to look bleak for Justin Trudeau and the Liberals when it comes to how voters are feeling about both the leader and the party. New polling done exclusively for Global News by Ipsos shows Pierre Poilievre's Conservatives holding a comfortable lead, while a majority of Canadians think it is time for Trudeau to step aside. Let's break this down. Darrell Bricker from Ipsos joins me now with the latest. Darrell, it is always great to see you. Your headline is quite intriguing. Despite summer heat, Liberal troubles remain frozen. How frozen are they right now?
Frozen is 6 feet deep, middle of February, frozen on the Rideau Canal in Ottawa. These numbers are grim. They haven't changed basically in a year. All they seem to do, all the fundamentals underneath the vote numbers just seem to be getting worse for the Prime Minister and the Liberal Party. Okay, so the numbers I see, Conservatives, 42%. This is actually down 2 points. I don't know how significant that is. The Liberals at 24%. Interesting as well, NDP is at 18. Add 24 and 18, what do you get? So you wonder how much of a split that could be. Yeah, well, if they were running as the same party, they'd be in great shape. The problem is that they're splitting as parties right now, and both of them have different regional strengths. But when you look at where the Liberals are today, at 24, keep in mind, and your listeners and viewers need to keep in mind, that Justin Trudeau beat Stephen Harper and won a comfortable majority back in 2015, beating him by only 10. He's 8 points, Pierre Poilievre is 8 points better than that right now. So that's how bad it is at the moment for the Liberal Party of Canada.
So as we look at the numbers, people are intrigued by the 42%. That is obviously very significant. But as it breaks down and as it reflects into the parliamentary system and the electoral system, rather, that we have at first past the post, how do you see it breaking down by region, by party? How significant could this be for the Conservatives?
Extremely significant for the Conservatives because they're winning with the big shift strategy, which is essentially winning Western Canada and winning the suburbs of the major cities. But this time around, different from Stephen Harper back in 2011, the last time the Conservatives won a majority, is that they're actually doing reasonably well in the province of Quebec. But the Conservatives don't need to do that well in the province of Quebec because the Bloc Québécois is well ahead and the Liberal Party is well down. And what the Liberals lack in this data is a place to build from. They're not leading in any region. They may be doing a bit better in places like cities, but they're just down across the board.
Okay, so that's from the party perspective when it comes to Justin Trudeau as a leader. And I mentioned in the intro that a lot of people think it is time for him to step aside. How does that break down?
Yeah, it's about 2/3 of voters who say that he should step aside. But here's the most important number in this, as far as I'm concerned. It's buried a little deeper in the analysis. This includes 1/3 of Liberals. So if only 24% say that they're going to vote Liberal if there's an election held today, that's only about 16% think they would vote Liberal and also want Justin Trudeau to stay.
Interesting.
16.
Interesting. And I know this was quite some time ago that there were more younger voters, at least in a younger demographic, voting for Conservative than they were Liberal. That was significant then. Is that holding?
Yeah, it is holding, but the other thing that we're starting to see roll up now is that the NDP seems to be doing better among younger voters as well. So the Liberals are, and interestingly enough, of that 24%, tends to do better among older voters than they do among younger voters, actually among the oldest voters. And the NDP and the Conservatives are competing well for younger voters. And middle-class voters, middle-aged voters, those people are overwhelmingly going to the Conservatives. So, you know, just as the Liberals lack a geographic base, they also lack a demographic base too.
What does this mean for Justin Trudeau? Because the election is expected in October 2025, still a ways to go. In terms of any runway for the Liberals, if they hope to, have some, saleability, if they actually potentially want to get elected, according to those numbers that you're telling me, they would need a new leader. Is it fair to assume? And if so, how much time would that require effectively to make that happen?
Well, what you're seeing right now, I mean, that's the big card that any party can play. in order to change their electoral prospects. There's really nothing else that they can do other than to hope that the other side is going to destroy itself. And at the moment, it doesn't seem to be happening for the Conservatives, and it hasn't happened since they've elected Pierre Poilievre as their leader. So really, that's something that if people are worried about the Liberal Party prospects in the next election, they really have to have on the table and be considering. How long does it take? In this era of modern technology, it could be a relatively quick process. But you could see a situation in which the leader resigns sometime this summer and they have a new leader by the time we roll into the fall.
Look, it's interesting no matter what, and it's going to be an interesting, year and a half, I guess, as we count down. We have to leave it there, Darrell. Always great to talk to you. Thank you so much. That is Darrell Bricker from Ipsos.